It's time for Retro Talk with Retro Rose here on
WXPM
on 98.5
FM.
Welcome back to Retro Talk with another fun episode. Who's here with me?
That would be the Breaux Show, or Ho, 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 Heaux, because of what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm here with Retro Rose.
We're going to be talking about holiday memories, holiday episodes. I mean, like, not really episodes, but I guess there was a lot of shows that had special episodes. There was cartoon specials.
There was Appointment TV.
There was stuff that would air only on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Like the Macy's Day... Macy's Day Parade, was that Christmas or Thanksgiving? I always get
that was Thanksgiving.
And there was a Christmas one too, though, right?
No, what they did was...
It was New Year's has mummers.
Right.
But wasn't... Macy's Day Parade was Thanksgiving then.
No, Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade ends with the lead into Christmas.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens.
I had to get it straight here.
Yep.
There was actually... And speaking of parades, I was just watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation the other day.
One of my favorite top 3 Christmas movies of all time.
What was the parade they were watching?
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Was that the one?
That is it.
Because the Nutcracker, we won't say what he lost, but they couldn't find it for a minute.
That movie is so... That is one of those, like, when you talk about appointment TV, appointment movies, and things like that, in the last maybe 10, 20 years or so, a couple stations over the years have put out their separate movies that they want to show for like 24-hour periods. That one in the last maybe 5 years is now on like this one run of 24 hours where you can watch it, and it's Chevy Chase. It's Beverly D'Angelo.
And it's basically during the holiday season.
Yep,
a lot of times the weekends before, or even on Christmas Day.
Yep.
The Christmas Story, and I want to talk about that a little bit later on too. The Christmas Story House.
That's a whole separate thing.
That's actually, that airs like constantly on Christmas Day.
Yes.
And I mean, that's a whole story. I want to mention that a little bit later on in this episode. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about what things that happen around Thanksgiving, leading up to Christmas stuff. It can be Christmas in July. It can be anything like that. But I just kind of want to talk about the memories.
Yep.
Things we remember. And I do remember in July, and they still have it today, like on some of those retro channels that you can watch. Like they'll have a day where it's all Christmas in July, like different episodes, like Little House on the Prairie that aired a Christmas episode and such.
Yep, there's that. And then you also have...
the Brady Bunch had a Christmas. I don't know if the Brady Bunch ever did have a Christmas, did they?
They did.
They had when they were grown up, right?
Yes.
Because they all go to their mom and dad's for Christmas.
There's also, like, MASH had that. They had one with A-Team. They had one with...
Did they have an A-Team Christmas special?
There was an A-Team Christmas... not Christmas special, but, like, it happened during Christmas.
During Christmas.
Yeah. I pity the fool that don't chew Christmas.
I mean, I'm sure there's a Santa Claus in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, who would be Santa? Who was Santa Claus? I forget. It might have been Hannibal in that episode. Anyway, there's so many different fun shows. I think when you're talking about Christmas specials and Thanksgiving specials, the first one that comes to mind that is Appointment TV that I have to watch, and you don't get it on TV anymore. You have to go to Apple TV to watch it, or you can get a DVD, the Peanuts Thanksgiving Day Special, where they're trying to do a Thanksgiving dinner without the adults.
Yes.
There's no turkey involved.
You know what? There's really never, ever any adults. The only adult you ever see in Peanuts, really, and the old ones. I think the newer ones they had some newer ones a few years back that they had adults in them. But it always had, like, you knew they were in school. But the teacher was always like, quack, 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 quack. Oh, was it more like that? Yeah, I think you got it more like, it was more like a mumble.
Yeah.
But you couldn't really hear, what she was saying. And the kids would respond like, yes, or whatever.
Yep.
They would respond. They knew what she was saying, but you had no idea what
That's
was
because they had
said.
Star Trek Universal Translators.
Yeah.
We didn't. So, no, but...
It's the same way with Snoopy.
Right.
some reason or another, he understood what Snoopy was saying.
Well, you had him. He kind of barked and stuff more than anything. But then you had Woodstock, his little yellow bird friend, and he's like. So, yeah.
I guess in a way, Charlie Brown knew what the dog was thinking.
Yes.
But they didn't know what the bird was thinking because only the dog could communicate with the bird.
You know why? And you know why you never have cars on that show?
Well, you do have a car in the show.
Oh, you do? That's right.
Thanksgiving, whenever.
That's
and you don't really see the adult. All you see is the kids in the back seat. And
who's driving the car?
Yeah, they're singing to go to grandmother's house over the bridge and through the woods. And you see that they're in the back seat, but you never see. I don't even think you see the back of the head of an adult driving. Right. Because they don't give you any sign of an adult presence aside from that squawking or whatever. Mumbling, whatever you want to call it.
Now, do you remember what Snoopy and Woodstock made for their Thanksgiving dinner in that episode, in that show?
Popcorn, toast, jelly beans was involved.
Yes.
Is there anything I'm missing?
No, that's it. That's pretty much the perfect Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, and I remember what happened was, it wasn't Marcy, was it? Marcy was one of them there, but what was the Peppermint Patty? Yes. Peppermint Patty started this. Yes. So what happens, she goes over to Charlie Brown's house.
Chuck, yep.
Chuck, yeah, calls him Chuck. Goes over there and invites herself to his house for dinner, for Thanksgiving dinner. Right. And the problem is he's supposed to go to his grandmother's for Thanksgiving. And so he feels guilty. She has a way of pushing him into things anyways. Feels guilty and okay, so I'll have a dinner for you guys. Then he has to figure out what to go on because she tells Marcy and says, Marcy, well, Chuck's having a Thanksgiving dinner. We're going to go over and join him. Mm-hmm. And then sees Franklin. Says, yep, Franklin, they're having a Thanksgiving dinner over here. And next thing you know, all the kids are over there. And Charlie Brown's trying to figure out, what am I going to feed these guys because no one's going to be cooking a meal, you know?
Of course, he turns to his dog and says, make dinner. Like,
yeah.
How does
Turns
that work?
to Snoopy, yeah. Right. And Snoopy's like, you see Snoopy and they're buttering all the bread with a chef hat on and everything.
And also
popping
Snoopy,
popcorn.
He makes that poor dog do so much work because also he hasn't set the table and set up the chairs. Yeah. And he has a fight with the ping pong table.
You remember, what was it? Was it he in there too? I think the bird was... Woodstock was stuck in the table too. Yeah. Wasn't there one point where you get stuck in there or something trying to make
You get stuck in a chair. And one of the...
it was the table, wasn't the chair. Yeah, I remember he got stuck in one. But it was a funny episode. Or funny, I should say, not really an episode. Yep. It was a special. Right. All these are special. And you know what's fun?
What's that?
Is that all of these were sponsored by Dolly Medicine. You remember that?
I remember that way back, yep.
Brought to you by Dolly Medicine. And I never really had those cupcakes until I was an adult. Yep. But I always wanted them. I would see those cupcakes on there when they had the, sponsored by or brought to you by. And I was like, oh, cupcakes.
Before we run out of time in this segment, I have to mention my other favorite Thanksgiving episode of all time.
What's that?
WKRP in Cincinnati, the turkey drop episode.
I've never seen that. I know.
You have to see this episode.
I know WKRP.
Right.
But I don't.
You have to see this episode. Essentially, they're trying to promote the radio station. By the way, we're listening to 98.5 WXPM, the Phoenix here. But this was a TV show called WKRP, and they're trying to promote that radio station. So the station manager's like, I got this special idea. And he doesn't tell anybody. So he has one of his reporters goes out and they're reporting about it. And he's going, this is Les Nessman out here. And I'm talking about, oh, look, there goes a helicopter flying by. Oh, my gosh, there's something dropping out of the helicopter. Oh, my gosh, they're turkeys. And it's turkeys that they're dropping to the ground because they can't fly.
Ah.
Yeah.
Turkeys, like...
Live turkeys. For people to have for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So, yeah. And the episode ends with the station manager. He's been tarred and feathered by people chasing him because he's been killing turkeys. And he goes, for the love of God, I thought turkeys could fly. It is so good. So that, anybody who's ever seen this episode, it sticks in your mind. It is the perfect Thanksgiving episode. You have to watch this.
I have never watched it, but I will tell you, I do got one memory of that.
Oh,
We went to the first time my dad ever took us to Kings Island. We
Okay.
went through Cincinnati, and we were on the highway. We were going right past the city of Cincinnati.
right.
And my sister and I look out the window and go, WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That's my only memory. Oh, and I have like this is totally off the subject of what we're talking about today. I got Motown 50 on a DVD.
Oh,
And they actually had him on there going back and what's his name? The guy that was the main DJ on WKRP.
yeah. Howard
what's
Hessman.
No, his actual name, the character's name.
Oh, Johnny Fever.
Johnny Fever.
Yep.
Going against John Machida
Oh,
on the 50th anniversary of
Motown.
Motown. And they're going back and forth as DJs.
That would be cool.
That was awesome. Actually, I'll have to
Yeah.
show it to you sometime. But for now, since we were talking so much about Charlie Brown,
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that's such a classic. Like you hear that, you think Charlie Brown either Thanksgiving or Christmas special.
now Lucy actually had this huge crush on Linus,
Yes,
but he didn't really care about her. All he cared about was his piano.
and no, that was Schroeder.
Oh, was it? No, Schroeder.
Yes.
All right. So Linus was the one with the blanket, and Schroeder was
Yep.
the one. But
And-
she was always leaning on his piano.
Yes.
Always leaning on it.
Yep. If she really liked, if she had a crush on Linus, and that would be a little strange.
Yeah, that would have been strange.
That's her brother.
But Sally was the one that had the crush
Right.
on.
That's Sally. Yes.
But
My
so
sweet baboo.
I want to correct myself on one other thing too. I said the 50th anniversary of Motown. It was the 25th anniversary.
Okay, so back when they were still
Yeah,
on the
Michael
okay.
Jackson was in there with all of his brothers.
Okay.
And everything. It was fun. Anyhow, let's go back to the Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
Thanksgiving Day, things that I remember besides the turkey. Yeah, I see you rubbing your belly.
Oh, I'm drooling. Oh.
I have a funny story about Thanksgiving Day that would be more cute and funny for my husband and I. I'll share it with you in a little bit, though. Things I remember as a kid, though, was watching either the Smurfs with the magic flute.
Yes.
That would air on Thanksgiving Day.
Yep.
For us kids, that's something Bonnie and I always watched. Bonnie's my sister, for those that have never heard her name. We would watch that on Thanksgiving Day back in the 80s. And if it wasn't the Smurfs, it was the Raccoons.
Oh, from Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was either one of those that would be airing Thanksgiving Day. A lot of times, though, I remember it was Smurf and the Magic Flutes. And I don't know, but I honestly think that came out before the series. Because it just didn't seem like it had been out long.
Right. I think you're right on that, actually.
Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of the characters, they didn't have as many characters as they did with the cartoon series.
Right.
And there was like, what was it, Johan was one of them?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, there's two boys in it. And I don't even know, I'm guessing there was still a Gargamel during it, but I'm not sure if there was.
And the magic flute, I don't think he was in that.
Because I think it's so early on that it didn't even have
An established main bad guy with Gargamel and Azrael or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I do remember watching it a lot, and then I started watching the Smurf series, but you could feel that it was just different.
Right.
And it was definitely a Thanksgiving thing.
Definitely.
And I remember Thanksgiving being like right before we would get ready to set up the Christmas tree. It would usually be right before the weekend before.
Right.
And I remember there being a bakery right near my mom and dad's, and you could smell the bread baking. And so we could walk over to the bakery on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And buy like a bag, like 12, a dozen rows for like $2 something.
Oh my gosh.
And they were freshly baked. They would stay open Thanksgiving Day just so people could walk over or drive over and get fresh rolls.
I would want to see if they would make gingerbread cookies.
Oh, they made cookies. They made all kinds of things.
See, that's dangerous
But you
being
could, you
so
could
close.
walk over there on the holidays. They would stay open
Oh,
just
wow.
so people could walk over and get their fresh baked goods for the holidays.
Oh my gosh.
So I remember that a lot too.
Aw. See, I love that. That's like a whole family. Like,
it was very family oriented.
Yeah.
It was very family, and my sister and I would always watch television and everything.
Yeah.
Watch those specials that I mentioned. There was the story I want to tell, though, and I want to let you say some things about your memories.
Okay. I want to hear all yours.
So this was I had 2 black kitty cats at one point, Shadow and Big Daddy.
I
They
remember
passed
them.
away several years back. This was when our cat Big Daddy was probably about. I hadn't met Tony yet. This was like in the around 95, something like that. And hadn't had the cat too long, and I invited my mom and dad over for Thanksgiving. I wasn't living with them at the time. Had the cats, and I went into the kitchen. They let him in from the kitchen area. Came back, and I had laid the turkey on the table. Bad mistake.
Oh no!
I laid it on the table. Went out there to check on, let my parents in. Came back in, and my one cat, Big Daddy, had his whole head up the turkey's butt. I came in there, and his head was totally missing. It was inside the turkey, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I hurried up and got him off there before my parents saw, or they would have never tried any of that turkey.
Oh my
I came in there and I was like, "You turkey!"
Yeah,
he had his whole head in there, and it's like, wow.
I've heard of turduckens and things like that. I've never heard of a turkitty. Like
It was like I came in, I was like, wow. Turkey kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had kitties even whenever I was a kid, though.
Yeah.
Around Thanksgiving, and I remember they didn't do that, but I used to put them in baby clothes,
Right.
like Cabbage Patch Kids clothes.
Oh my gosh!
And put them in like a basket next to me while I was eating my Thanksgiving dinner.
You put them in the kids' table.
Yeah, I would put them in the little kids'
table
and say, "Oh, here's a piece of turkey, baby." And he was like, "All right, this is worth dressing up like a baby and pretending like she's her baby.
Oh my
I'm getting
gosh.
all this free turkey."
Oh
You
my
know?
gosh! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I mean that's what our Thanksgivings were basically like.
Right.
The one as an adult though is the most funny because a cat's head totally in there. It's just you can't. Right, Alf? That would have been good, right?
I would have eaten that so hard. That would have been so tasty. Put some extra juices on that kitty because that would have been tasty.
Yeah. I'll take the turkey with the kitty.
Now that's a plate that I can fit a cat on. Yes. Anyway.
Can you tell me some of your Thanksgiving memories?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I can honestly say one of my favorite memories as a kid, it was just me, my mom, and my dad primarily a lot of times. And there was one year after my dad had passed away that my mom and one of her friends was like, you know what? We're going to go up and visit your family for my mom's side of the family in Massachusetts. Now, I lived in Louisiana at the time. And we didn't fly. We drove.
Oh,
We
wow.
drove from Louisiana to Massachusetts. Took about 3 days. We took our time to go through all the states and everything. But once we got there in time for Thanksgiving. It was as 11, 12 years old. It was the first time I met any of them, actually. I never really met them other than when I was a baby, and I don't remember that. And I got to spend time with my Uncle Jack, my mom's sister's husband, and he took me to Boston. It was my first time in a big city, and he took me for a little tour and stuff a couple days before Thanksgiving, taught me that, and this is not real, folks. I'm letting you know now. He was joking with me, and he had a good laugh at it. But he told me that if you stood on certain spots on the sidewalk, that's when the walk signs would come up. But you had to jump up and down to get it to happen. That's what he made me do. He made me look like a little kid, silly and everything, jumping up and down to make the light to walk go on. Now, he also took me to go see Old Ironsides and everything, too. For Thanksgiving dinner, that day of Thanksgiving was the first time I ever saw snow. And I got to play in the snow, make snowballs, throw them at my mom and all my cousins and everything, and have a lot of fun. And I got to spend time with my Nana and Nampy.
That was the first time you ever got to see snow?
First time I got to see snow.
Wow. I grew up around it.
I know, and I loved every minute of it. That's when I didn't realize snow pretty, snow stinks. But because I didn't have to shovel it because I got to leave after the fact. But I just remember that being like the first time I got to enjoy a really large family meal dinner with my extended family that I had never really gotten to meet before. And it just sticks out in my mind as one of my favorite, absolute treasured Thanksgiving memories. there's also a few others over the years where after getting married for the first time, my wife, she loves to cook when she can, but she doesn't often have a lot of time just because of her work schedule and everything.
Yeah.
But the one day she wants to cook every year is Thanksgiving. And every year for the last 25 years, it has been one of the best Thanksgiving dinners I've ever had. And it gets better and better and better. And she makes me one side dish that she will not eat herself.
What's that?
Black eyed peas, because I'm a Southern guy.
You love black eyed
I got to have my black eyed peas.
Tony and I, we always go over to his mom's house. But my parents were always big into that too.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm going to be visiting my mom. I usually always visit my mom on Thanksgiving holidays.
Aw.
And so I would love to cook there, but she usually wants to go to Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
They have the Thanksgiving thing there. But Tony's mom's always big into making the big meals. And my mom used to be like that too. When my dad was alive still, we would always have Thanksgiving at the house, but now that he's not, she would rather just go get something out where it's easier.
You know, it's funny you say that because throughout my high school years, my mom was kind of like the same way after my dad passed away, and just, she wanted to relax. So we would go to Piccadilly.
Yeah.
That's where we would go and get a nice Thanksgiving dinner at Piccadilly and kind of get all that we wanted at the time.
Yeah.
And it was, again, treasure memories with just me and my mom.
Yeah.
I will never trade those for anything.
It makes it, it just makes it easier sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was actually a lot of fun. I like the smell, though, of food cooking in the oven.
Yeah.
I like the pies and everything. But
important question then.
Important question.
Very important question. Pumpkin pie or apple pie?
I like apple pie, but I'm more of, these are my two favorite pies.
Okay.
Cherry pie with vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
Especially when it's hot.
Yes.
Put it onto it, melts. And pumpkin pie with whipped cream.
I agree with that. Now, I will tell you my favorite tradition for Thanksgiving morning, pie for breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Have a slice of pie or two for breakfast. Don't have anything else.
Oh, I love that too.
So you have to have pie made the night before. You wake up, boom, you got breakfast.
Well,
and have a little glass of milk with it. Done.
We'll think about what we're going to have for breakfast later on again. Maybe I'll mention some of my favorite holiday snacks here a little bit later on. Now we're going to run into Christmas memories because we're working our way up to the holiday season.
It's not that short a run between the two, that's for sure.
Not that far of a run at all. Not even this year. I mean, if we're going to talk about how close it is, it comes around fast.
Yeah, well, this year Thanksgiving, at least in the year 2024, Thanksgiving is on like the 28th of November. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like really deep into the month, actually. So I'm a little excited, but it's also like, okay, there's only like 3 weeks between that and Christmas then. The one good thing is days off. Not going to complain.
Yeah. Oh, I don't get too many days off, but that's all right. I get days off throughout the year. So let's talk about, we've talked about the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special. But let's talk about the Christmas one. There was a Charlie Brown Christmas special, too.
That is probably the most well-known of almost every Christmas special, aside from a couple others.
Yeah, I do want to mention the other ones, too, that were famous. But Charlie Brown gets a Christmas tree for the school play. Well, I don't even know if it was a school play. I know it was a play.
Right. It was going to be the first Christmas.
Yeah. And he picks out the smallest, or ends up with the smallest tree there is.
It's basically a branch, let's be honest.
It's more of a branch.
It's a branch with two pieces of wood holding it up, and putting on one single ornament makes it go...
And poor Charlie Brown takes the brunt of it again all the time. Mm-hmm. He takes it.
But even in this special from 1965, 66, he always starts talking about the commercialization of Christmas.
Yep.
Like, it's a whole, that's basically the overlying entire story, arc of that episode of that story.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, it brings it back to the real meaning of Christmas, of just being kind to each other.
Yeah.
And the gift is just being good.
Yeah, and I think it was actually Linus that does that, right?
Yep, he has that whole speech in the middle. And religious or not, it just goes to the core of just being a good person, and I love it.
And then in the end, they make that branch look like a full tree.
Yes, they do, without the aluminum foil or tin foil or whatever that all the other trees had.
You remember where they get all the stuff, the lights and the bulbs and everything.
They
for
took
that
it
tree.
from Snoopy's house.
Yeah, Snoopy was decorating his house, and they took everything from Snoopy's house.
And again, how does a dog decorate his own doghouse?
Yeah, this is a smart dog. Like I said, they talk to him all the time. But it's actually, they had all kinds of Charlie Brown specials.
Yep.
There was the Christmas, the Thanksgiving, the Halloween one, which we didn't touch base on, with the Great Pumpkin.
Yep.
They had a Valentine's one.
Yep, with the little redhead girl.
Yeah. There was I don't know, there was definitely a camp out one.
Oh, we're here from
New
Connor in the
Year's one,
basement
there was a
now.
New Year's
He's hanging
one.
out with Tony. Yep, the New Year's one.
Yeah, but there was definitely a lot of them.
Yep.
And if we're going into Christmas, we can't forget Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman from Rankin Bass, which was an animated episode or cartoon of just Frosty the Snowman wanting to stay alive,
There's one of them that he returns to.
and he gets a wife.
Yeah, what is that? What was it called? The Return of Frosty the Snowman? I think?
Frosty Returns, I think, or
Frosty
something like that.
Returns.
Yep.
Yeah, and he gets a wife in that one.
Yep.
And there's also Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
The perennial of all the kids specials, and as a matter of fact, this year in 2024, after 50 years or so of being on CBS, they're airing it now on NBC. NBC is getting it, and the time frame of this, of when our episode will air. But I can say that the first Friday in December, they're airing the 75-minute version of it.
Oh my gosh! And that was kind of rough. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Because not only did the kids, the other reindeers, the kid reindeers, tease him,
Yeah.
but his dad gave him a hard time. He wanted him to cover his nose just so he could be one of Santa's reindeer.
Yeah. And
You're right.
you can't cover up that specialness.
Yeah, I mean, even Santa was like, oh, and it's like, he took a lot of, that was horrible.
Well, that's why he ran away, and he met Yukon, and he had Hermie the elf with him, too.
Yeah.
And they encountered the abominable snowman.
And there was, the one was an elf that was wanting to be a dentist,
That's
right?
Hermie, yep.
Yeah, he wanted to be a dentist, and he fixed his
Yep.
tooth, right?
Fixed his one tooth. He pulled out the bad tooth and everything.
Pulled out the bad tooth. But, I mean, he took a lot. I mean, his dad was really a jerk. If you think.
The Dasher.
What was
his
Dasher?
dad.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
going to say it was one of the regular reindeer. But in the end, he actually showed them all off and said, check
Yes.
that out. I can light the way.
And I can fly.
Yeah.
And this is where we found out there's a land of misfit toys. On top of
Yeah.
all that, do you know what happened with the original ending of that show?
No.
Okay, so the original ending of the show where you see the credits and you see Santa flying and they're dropping off toys and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
For good girls and boys. The original airing, there's no going back to get the land of misfit toys.
Oh, wait. So I remember, though, they did go back and get that.
What they had a letter writing campaign from a bunch of kids. So the next year when the special aired, they had redone the animation to show him picking up or dropping off the land of misfit
I
toys.
never realized that.
Yeah,
So he doesn't go back to the land of misfit
In the
toys.
original airing, he doesn't go back.
But then the kids wanted him to.
The kids wanted him to. There was a letter writing campaign, and
wow!
and
Now,
they
see,
redid
I didn't
that.
know that.
Yep, it's one of
Wow.
those weird little facts that I love because kids turned the tide and made sure that even the misfit toys
Got a home. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep,
That's something I didn't
love
know.
that. And let's not forget Rankin Bass, who made Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And they also made Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
That's right.
That's one of my favorites too, because I'm Mr. Cold Winter. I'm Mr. 0 degrees.
Yep.
I'm Mr. What's the hot ones?
Oh, you got Heat Miser and Snow
what's
Miser.
Heat Miser song?
I'm Mr. No. Oh, I forget his song, but yeah, I know. Again.
I would have to look that one up, but
Well, there's also
they both
Rudolph.
have, one was hot and one was cold.
Yep, and
But
there's
I love
also-
those guys though. I can't believe I can't remember the song.
And going ahead just a little bit, there's also Rudolph's New Year with Happy the Baby.
Oh wait, I think I remember that one because
Yep.
the old year went out as an old man,
Yep.
and then the new that was on there.
And they had to protect the baby from a vulture that was going to steal him. But whenever he took his hat off, the top hat from the baby, his ears would pop out and everybody would start laughing.
I don't remember that. I mean, I remember seeing it, but I don't remember that. I don't remember a lot of it. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, and the baby's name is Happy.
I'll have to
Happy
look that
New
up
Year.
because it's something I watch Rudolph. I
Yep.
watch Frosty. I actually have them on DVD.
Oh,
Santa
yeah, you
Claus
got
is
to.
Coming to Town. A lot of those shows. I actually have Smoky Mountain Christmas too with Dolly Parton.
Oh. Well, there's
Smoky
also
Mountain
John Denver's
Christmas.
Christmas with the Muppets.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Christmas Carol is so beloved. It's so good.
You know, that Christmas Carol used to freak me out, though.
Really?
Not that one, but the original.
Mm-hmm.
And even actually, a little bit of the Muppet one used to scare me a little bit, creep me out with the old guys, you know, the hecklers as those ghosts.
Oh. Well, if we're talking about Muppets, that we have to get in here, and it's the absolute pinnacle of Muppet anything ever made. It is the Muppet Family Christmas. It's where Fozzie brings Kermit and everybody over to his mom's house before she tries to go away on vacation, and they get stuck by a snowstorm. But not only do...
I don't remember that one either.
Yeah, they get stuck.
Wow.
But wait, it gets better. Not only is it the Muppets stuck at the house with her and everything, but then all of the characters that occur at that time in the mid-'80s for Sesame Street show up.
Wow.
She has to make room for all of them. And then on top of that, the Fraggles show up. So it's all of them together.
I don't remember that. I'll
It is
have to
so
look
good.
that up. Oh,
And
wow.
the last bit, the last scene, it's all of them together. They finally are all together. They're singing Christmas carols. And the last scene, and it makes me teary-eyed even talking about it now. It's the one and almost only time you ever see Jim Henson interacting with the Muppets as themselves.
Oh, wow.
He's in the kitchen. He turns to Sprocket the dog from Fraggles and goes, "Oh, I love seeing them happy. Well, Sprocket, come on. These dishes aren't going to wash themselves."
I
And he
think I
turns-
might have seen. I think I might have seen the
Yeah.
very ending. I don't
Yeah.
remember the show very much.
I'm getting
but-
goosebumps talking about it because I love that special so much.
Yeah.
And there's no other Christmas special as far as Muppets are concerned that's better.
We should actually have a special episode just geared on the Muppets because I have a DVD that's on Jim.
Oh, okay.
And I have a DVD that's on the guy that was I Am Big Bird.
Okay, yeah.
So
No, it's so good.
I have a couple of them, but yeah, I didn't know. I seem to remember the part where Jim's talking to the dog.
Yep.
But I don't remember anything else.
It's
aside
so
from that.
good. There's a whole little subplot about Miss Piggy trying to make it there on time, and she has to go through the snow and somehow does a costume
So
change.
this was before the Christmas Carol one, though?
Yes, this was an
Muppet Christmas.
ABC TV special that was like an hour long, and there's videos and DVDs out there, but they don't have all the scenes in it because of copyright laws, songs that are sung that they have to cut for making DVDs and such. But you can find them online elsewhere if needed.
Yeah,
So-
I'll have to see if we can find that one so Tony and I can watch that. But for now, I think we're going to go for a break. Remember the music? Remember the movies? Remember the cars, the fashions, the news, the things that stood out during our youth? It's okay to be nerdy. Join me as I reminisce over the cartoons, the toys, and the video games of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Turn back the clock with Retro Talk.
Weekends on 98.5 XPM's $1 Million Weekend lineup.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about holiday memories, holiday episodes we used to watch stuff of.
Yep.
And I mentioned this earlier about the Christmas Story.
Yes.
So, honestly, I love that show, that movie growing up, and it airs all the time locally. But when I go see my mom,
Yes.
I might have mentioned this, that it's only like a half hour, 40 minutes from my mom's house.
You have been to the house. I know.
I have been to the house. I
And
bet
it's-
like a piggy. It's like, he like a piggy. And they have the plate there and everything, and you can put it up and go,
Oh my God.
all that good stuff.
That would be one of my Mecca journeys at some point, because A Christmas Story to me is the perfect Christmas movie. It is there's no other better Christmas movie out there. You got your Home Alones, you got your Elf, you got National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, you got Santa Claus the movie, you got all these different ones. But when it comes to the perfect Christmas movie, A Christmas Story is it.
Now, this is something actually that would be fun to cover when I'm out there sometime. But you go in there, and it looks just like the house outside.
Right.
You know, they made it look like the house inside.
Right.
Originally, it wasn't. That was just actually a studio.
The exterior was what they used the house for.
Yeah. But they changed the house interior to make it look like it did in the movie.
Wow.
So they spent a lot of money to do that just so they can make it into a tourist place. And you go in there and everything's set up, the leg and everything. Go into the kitchen and they have the dinner table set up where you can eat like a little piggy. Put the plate up there. Get into the cabinet like Randy's hiding in the cabinet.
Oh my gosh.
I've gotten inside the cabinet. And,
wow, and you came
Don't
out?
ask me how I got in there, but I did. I squeezed inside there and had my mom shut the door for a few minutes. And then the
She was
front
like,
porch,
"Finally."
of course, the front porch is just like the movie. Everything, but where you see, like in the movie, there's a house next door.
Right.
That's a parking lot in real life. That's
Oh,
where all
wow.
the cars park at when they come in to check the house out.
Did they have the electric sex in the window?
They do.
Okay.
They do. And you go up and around the stairs, up to the top where Ralph would have been standing as a bunny.
Right.
You go on up and around into the upstairs, and at the top is a telephone where you pick it up, where she says, well, you know what so-and-so said. Well, you pick
Yes.
that phone up, and you hear her say, what? And, she starts complaining about, he did not, and
Yep.
all this stuff, probably from his father. All this is on that. As soon as you pick the phone up,
Oh
it
my
starts
gosh.
talking.
That is so great.
And you can go into the into the bathroom, and there's the bar of soap. Act like you're putting
Right.
it in there. And there's paperwork there where he's solving out what it says, the little...
Drink more Ovaltine.
Yeah.
A crummy commercial.
All of that is still in there, like the pen and paper. They put it like he's just been in there,
Right.
writing that out. And then right off the bathroom, you go into the side bedroom, and that's where the boys' bedroom is with the double beds and everything.
my gosh.
And you look right out the window, and right out the window is exactly what you would have been seeing, because they do go inside the house to film that part.
Right.
Where you see outside the window. But, like I said, the whole interior had to been changed to
Right.
look like inside.
Oh my gosh.
But you go right to that window and you take a picture, and you're looking right out into what they would have seen for the Christmas story.
That would have been. That's so fun. I love that. I love that.
And it's fun to give you a little idea of what else is there. You go across the street, you do see the neighbor's house that's shown in it a couple
Okay.
times. And it's strange that the father's car would be, the old man's car is on the opposite side, but there's not really any room on the side where the house is. The old man's car is in a garage on the opposite side where you can go get pictures with it.
And you can say, "Oh, fudge." Only I didn't say fudge.
And this is like a promotion for them because it's fun. If you're big into Christmas Story, it's a must go see in Cleveland, Ohio. And they have a little gift shop and everything, and it has all Christmas Story stuff. You can buy the bunny outfit, you can buy shirts, you can buy the secret decoder ring, you can
Okay.
buy anything that they would have had during that. They even sell Red Ryder BB guns.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, so
The reason I love this movie so much is one of my favorite Christmas gifts of all time. I actually got a Daisy BB gun.
I got one
similar
of
to the
those
Red
as a
Ryder.
teenager too. I said, Dad, we watched it all the time.
Yep.
And I was like, I was probably around 16 or something like that. I said, Dad, why don't you get me one of those? And he got me one.
I was 7, and I did not shoot my eye out per se, but I definitely put some marks in a few trees. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think it was more of a collector's item
Yeah.
at that time because it was like we watched it every year and I was already in my teens. And I was like, I really want one of those Red Riders.
yeah, that's one of those scenes where in that movie in particular, they've opened all the presents, everything. The old man is looking at everything, and he looks at Ralphie and he goes, "Did you get everything you want?" Yeah, I guess so. Are you sure? Yeah. Well, I think there's something right over there. And he points him over to where there's a present right behind the desk and everything. And it's, again, one of those moments in Christmas. And, like, Christmas is my favorite time of year. And coming over, and he sees the box, he opens it up, and he realizes it's the Red Ryder BB gun. Again, goosebumps again. And I start to tear up a little bit every time because he gets the exact thing he wanted for Christmas.
Yeah. His dad was a cool dad.
Yeah. And I have to kind of go into one of my absolute favorite memories of Christmas of all time. And this happens every year when I used to do this. As most people who've listened to the show know, I worked at 3 major toy stores. I worked at KB Toys, Toys R Us, FAO Schwartz. And it
All the fun places.
All the fun places. And I always volunteered to work Christmas Eve. And the first year it was like, oh, you know what? I just want to work and be there for Christmas and whatnot. But it happened that first year, and then every time I worked in the toy store since. you always got one family member that came in. Maybe it was an uncle, an aunt, or whatever, bringing in one kid, usually under 10 years old. And they would come in and say, little Bobby, little Ricky, little Missy, whatever, you can pick out one toy you can have right now for Christmas. And they would get to buy it right then and there.
Aww.
And I usually got to be the person that saw that or helped them out or helped the little boy or little girl find the right toy.
Aww.
And that is the pinnacle of my perfect Christmas memories, is that right there. On top of meeting my wife and starting dating her at Christmas time too. But that there, as far as just with kids and such, that's my Christmas. That's what makes Christmas special to me.
I think what makes Christmas really special to me is probably going to be something that I'll have to do in another episode, but it's going to be, family is too.
Right.
Family is, there's a lot of family memories. I will say that getting toys was fun.
Oh, yeah.
But I have really, this is even getting beyond Christmas, like a New Year.
Oh, yeah.
1979 shows my age. I remember 1979 going into 1980.
Oh, wow.
I remember going over to my aunt's house, and I had gotten a strawberry shortcake. This was the first edition strawberry shortcake before custard came along and everything. I remember taking that over with me. We stopped at the local Taco Bell that's still in place where it was then. It's still in place at near Mom's house. I go there every time I'm down there.
Yep.
I mean, the exterior has changed. The interior has changed. But it's in the same location as it was in 1979.
Wow.
So when we went over to my aunt's, we stopped at Taco Bell and then watched the apple drop while I was holding my strawberry shortcake doll.
Aww.
1979 into 1980.
I love that.
And that's a memory I never forgot.
Right.
There is a lot of things that I got, gifts that I'll never forget. Some things you've seen before.
Yep.
I think family has always been a special thing. And as the holidays do come around again, I do want everyone to know that, spending time with family is the most important thing.
Agreed. And whether your family is people you grew up with as a kid or a found family or anything like that.
Adopted family.
Exactly. Or, like you, Tony, and everybody are my family.
Yeah.
Your
extended families.
We have our Retrocon family. We have Connor, who's now part of the family, being part of with the show and everything, and everybody at the radio station here. So it is truly it's a magical time of year, and it makes everything. For new friends that we see often as much as we can to spend time with them, for those that don't have someone, and we try to make time for them too.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Christmas is that time of year where you just are extra kind. And I'd be remiss without the last couple minutes that we have here to not mention my friend Tiger, my friends Tiger and Chris, who were pivotal for my college years and everything, and Tiger throwing the most epic Christmas parties back in the day. Maybe one of these days we'll get Tiger on the show because I need.
That would be awesome.
We need Tiger to talk about his Christmas memories at some point, or his memories are just making fun of me.
Making fun of you.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what Christmas is to me.
Yeah, and eating is fun too.
Let's just say that how many pies do I eat in a year for Christmas? Usually at Christmas time, I usually eat like 2 or 3 full pies. I'm not gonna lie.
So Mike has this serious moment, and then I have this eating moment. Alf agrees with me, though. Food is really good.
Listen, if you can make a cat fit in a casserole dish, I'll be good. Can you make a cat pie? I need a cat pie to eat for Christmas.
Is that like a pot pie? A cat pie?
It's like a pot pie. It's like a chicken pot pie, but with sauce over a kitty.
Sauce over a kitty?
Sauce over a kitty in a pie.
How about chipmunks?
Chipmunks are kind of gamey. I can't do those very well.
Well, we're going to still listen to the chipmunks. As we close out for this week, I want to thank everyone for listening again.
I do too. I want to thank you, everyone. Make sure to listen to us here on WXPM 98.5, The Phoenix, every week, Saturday and Sunday. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And we will see you next week with another fun episode of Retro Talk.
come sponsor Retro Talk, where your support keeps us on the air. If you want more information, send an email to WXPM985@gmail.com and we'll send you our brochure.
You've been listening to
Retro Talk with Retro Rose
here on
98.5 WXPM.
Be back next week, same time, same channel.